questions I get about braiding extensions, also known as double-ended dreadlock extensions. Let's dive into it. Every single day on social media, I tend to get so many questions about these extensions. How do you put them in? How do you care for them? How many do you wear? And so I'm here today to answer the top 30 questions that people ask me about these extensions. Extension question number 1 is, what is the difference between a braiding extensions and a double-ended dreadlock extension? There really isn't a difference. For us, we just call them braiding extensions because we found that many people can tend to be offended by the word dreadlock, or they're just uncomfortable with it. So we go with the word braiding extension, especially since we have this style. We have the braided style, which obviously is not a dreadlock, and we also have more that we plan to bring in the future. So we stick with the word braiding extension. Extension question number 2 is, can I install braiding extensions on undreaded, loose, natural hair? You absolutely can. That's actually how you're going to want to install these. So all these extensions are actually just laid up against the scalp. You take 2 pieces of your natural hair, the extension becomes a 3rd piece, and you just begin to braid like a regular braid. Most people don't install these with natural dreads. Natural dreads, when your hair that you've grown on your head is actually been dreaded up. That's the big benefit of these, is that you can put them in, take them out, go back to your natural hair without dreading your natural hair itself and worrying about having to comb it out to actually remove them. You can go back and forth, switch around. You can also switch up your colors all the time. I swap mine every 4 weeks or so, and so I get a change, and that's what makes them really fun. Extension question number 3, how many of these do you need? Now that question is really fun to answer because it's a little bit different for everyone. Depending on how much hair you have, the thickness, the fullness, even the size of your head, that can all make a difference. Now, that being said, there is a base that most women wear. This is going to depend on the length that you wear as well, because the length is going to change the weight of them. For example, I'm currently wearing our long extensions, which hit about butt length for me. But we also have our shorties, which when I wear them hit about bust length. So they're going to be a lot lighter. They're going to be a lot easier to care for. You can still get them in a ponytail, in a bun, and they're still pretty long compared to most women's natural hair, but they are going to be a ton lighter and easier than the long ones. So with these shorties, you're going to wear between 13 and 16 bundles of these. Each bundle has 5 extensions in them, and so you're going to have quite a few of these in, but that gives you a super full look, but it's still pretty light at the same time. For the long extensions, this one's going to be a little bit different. The highest I usually recommend wearing is about 13 to 14 bundles for most people, especially if you're just getting started. I have seen women go higher. Honestly, I've gone a little bit higher at times, but you are going to add a lot of weight as you go higher than those 13 bundles. Now, if you want to combine the two, which is what I actually have in right now, I have longs and I have shorties on top to add fullness, to add layers. That's really fun. You're going to do 9 bundles of the longs, and then you're going to grab your shorties and you are going to do about 6 bundles of those. Fun part is you can mix and match the colors too on top, or do all the same like I have in right now. Braiding extension question number 4. What is the minimum length or maximum length you need to have in your natural hair in order to install these? Really cool thing with this is that you only need to have about 2 inches of length in your hair. I actually sent you a course on how to install these, so I'll show you different methods based off your hair length. People with really short hair have to do a double banded method. People with longer hair can do the braided method. Now, when it comes to how long can it be, honestly, with one style of our extensions, if you have it about butt length, you can still braid these in. There's enough space to fit it in, and a lot of women who still have long hair still like to do these extensions. Braiding extension question number 5. How long does it actually take to install these in your hair? This is a big question. I get that out in public all the time. How long did that take? Actually, it doesn't take as long as you think, and it's going to save you time each day getting ready. It would normally take me 40 minutes each day getting ready. Now, it takes me like 5 minutes. So, it's a massive benefit. Now, it does take time. If I install these on my own, it takes me about 7 to 8 hours. I take little breaks, have a snack, walk around the house, things like that. But that's how long it takes me. If I have my hair girl install them for me, just my regular hairdresser, because she knows how to braid, it can take her about 3.5 to 4 hours. So, it's much, much faster. That being said, your hair girl might be able to braid them in even faster than what mine does, but it still shortens the time that I have getting ready every single day, and I love that. Braided hair extension question number 6. How long can you actually wear these extensions for? Some women will wear them from anywhere from 4 to 8 weeks. Me, my sweet spot, I like 4 to 5 weeks. My hair grows super, super fast. And I tend to find that as my little baby hairs start to escape, literally like they're doing today, because I have a refresh today. As they start to escape, I tend to get a little bit itchy and I just don't love it. So what I do is I just schedule an appointment every 4 weeks and I have them refresh, and you can wear these over and over and over again. So that is a massive benefit as well. You get to reuse them. It's not a one-time thing. You can reinstall them, take them out, put them in, swap out your colors, swap out your length. But on average, I would say about 4 to 6 weeks is what most women do. Extension question number 7, are these going to damage your hair? This is a really great question because I could see how people could think that they could potentially damage your hair. Cool thing about them is they are actually a protective hairstyle. When your hair is actually braided onto the extension, it is protected because you're not using heat, styling products, you're not using chemicals on them, all those things. Your hair isn't moving around as much. It's very protected and held tight against extension. So lots of women find their hair thicker, fuller, longer as they begin to wear them. I've seen women who came in with really damaged hair, maybe they've done a lot of bleaching and stuff, and then they began to wear them. They wore them for a couple of years until all that bleaching had grown out and their hair was so healthy, so strong. As you wear them, you're actually going to be adding things like serums on them, like crown nectar, and so that's going to add a ton of benefits of moisture, of a lot of care, a lot of ingredients in there that is really, really healthy for your scalp and hair. So a lot of women find their scalp's healthier, their hair's healthier, and it's just better overall. Braid and extension question number 8, are these going to cause traction lines on your head? Is it going to cause alopecia? Is it going to start ripping your hair out? Girl, no. The only time that's going to happen is if you do not care for them properly or you do not install them properly. And when you install them, you want to install them so they feel secure but not tight. You never want there to be pulling tension. You don't want it to be creating headaches or anything like that. They should not be tight on your scalp. Now, what traction marks are, that's basically when you have the box that's parted in your hair and you keep braiding them in and they're tighter and tighter, it starts to rip your hair out. Now, this does tend to happen when people have things like micro braids in where their natural hair is braided really, really tight. But if you install these correctly and do not install them that tight, which you will feel if you're doing it, you will know for sure, you are not going to have that happen. It's not going to pull your hair out. It's very, very hard to actually do that, especially when you're installing yourself. It's hard to braid that tight. It really is. It's something you almost has to happen very on purpose, and most women don't accidentally do that. So what I have found is I've not seen any women personally that I have taught how to install these, who install them properly, who have had any problems with it whatsoever. Now, I have seen people who have installed them incorrectly, way too tight, had someone install them way too tight, and they have had issues with them. Those have never been any people that have been my customers and my people that I have taught. So as long as you install them well, you install them where they're secure, but they're not pulling tight, you're gonna be 100% fine. Braid-in extension question number 9. How do I wash these? I get this question. Honestly, it's kind of funny. Men will randomly ask me, how do you wash those? And honestly, it makes sense when it comes to looking at the long version of these because there's a lot of hair here. But for the longs and shorts, you're going to wash them the exact same way. I actually have a YouTube video where I fully show you how to do this. I'm in the shower in a swimsuit, so that makes it super simple. But let me show you super quick. We actually have this shampoo bar that I formulated and that we make here at Wildcrafted Beauty that you can wash it with. It comes with the shampoo bag, so you can wash it really, really simply. It is full of all natural ingredients, butters, only scented with essential oils, has benefits for balancing your pH in the skin, hair growth, all the good things. But you're simply going to wet this down in the shower. You are going to scrub your scalp in little tiny circles like this, working your way around. I will part my hair in different sections, get in there, and then I'll actually use a scalp massager. You can find these on Amazon for like $5. They have little pointy ends. They go like this on your head. Feels fantastic. You're going to scrub your scalp that way. I wash my hair just once a week, so in the midst of an install, it's going to be 4 times. And then once I take them out, I give my head a good scrub. It feels amazing, but it's super simple. The biggest struggle with this is that there's just a lot of hair there. When you add water to it, it does add a lot of weight to it as well. But the cool thing is, since these are synthetic, so basically they're plastic, they dry really, really fast. They do not absorb water, so the water actually just kind of drips off, and a lot of people will just let them air dry and be good to go. Extension question number 10. Can you get these fully wet and submerged in the shower? Are you gonna have odor issues? Is there any smell, any heaviness, anything like that? No, absolutely not. I will hear people say, oh, don't dreads get gross, don't they get moldy? No, they're not going to get moldy. A lot of those comments you hear are actually about people having natural extensions or natural dreads in their hair. That's their own natural hair being dreaded up. That's going to be a completely different experience, because the cool thing with these is you're going to take these out once a month and you are going to actually detox them. You're going to cleanse them, you're going to put them in a bowl, wash them, and even in between that time frame, nothing like that is going to happen because these are not made of a natural fiber. So because they're made of a synthetic fiber, you do not have things that get inside of it as much. It's not going to hold onto moisture. It kind of just drips off. And since it doesn't hold moisture, you're not going to have to worry about things like mold and stuff growing inside of them. I've never heard it happen in synthetics. It's not a thing, but it's a common question that's asked. Braid extension question number 11. Can you swim in these? Absolutely, you could swim in these. These would be great in the ocean. They're going to be great in a lake. They're going to be great in a pool. No matter what, you don't have to worry about color bleeding out, any of those things, because this is the actual color of the fiber. So whether you have a natural color like these, or if you have something like our pixies here, which are pink straight up, you don't have to worry about the color coming out. They're going to be perfect like this. Now, if you have the wavies and they are brand spanking new, I do recommend that you actually put them in a couple of French braids when you're swimming. When they're moving around in the water, they can tangle a lot. But what happens is they're loose hair at first. They will spread over time. The extensions I have in right now are actually very, very locked up. I've had these for about 2.5 years and I've worn them on and off during that time frame, so they are super locked up. I could hop in the pool, the lake, the ocean, whatever like this, get back out, run my fingers through it, they would be good to go golden. This is when they're easy peasy, so easy to care for, but no matter what, you can swim in them. Braided extension question number 12. How do you sleep in these and how do you sleep comfortably? That is one thing that does usually take people a little bit time to get used to, whether they're wearing the longs or wearing the shorties. Because as you install these, that's a new feeling on your scalp. You're going to have bumps that are there. That's a new feeling. You're going to have the braid that's there. That's a new feeling. You're going to have a lot more just like depth that's there, right? So you have your head on your pillow. Normally it's a little bit closer. Now it's a little further away. That is new to get used to as well. So ways to sleep comfortably in them. Let's talk about it. First things first, when they're brand spanking new, sleep in a bonnet and a satin pillowcase. I like doing both because sometimes the bonnet slides off, then you've got the satin pillowcase, but that's going to help make sure they're not rubbing and scrubbing around, especially if you move a lot while you sleep. That's going to make sure that you're not frizzing them, making them crazy, and you can get them to lock up properly the way that you want them to. Another option is sleeping in French braids or some kind of braid. I did this actually when I got my first set of extensions. I would put them in 2 French braids on my back. I'm a side sleeper, so my hair would end up all behind me, and it actually worked out pretty well. I kept this part of my hair just pulled back really slick, and I knew that it was kind of out of the way, and it worked well. Now, many women will try different styles. Someone will do a bun with a bonnet over top. You can try and figure out what works for you, but just know it's going to take a few days to get used to it because you're going to have bumps there. It's not going to feel as comfortable at first. Some women who aren't super sensitive will be like, I was fine, but overall, a lot of women do say, hey, it's going to take me 3, 4, 5 days to get used to it. Just know it's coming and you'll be good to go. Extension question number 13. What products do you use on these? This is an amazing question because when I first started wearing these extensions, I got them and they were more like the loose wavy hair here. Over time, they do lock up, but the advice I was given on these is just use water on them. Every single day, go ahead and separate like this, just with water on your hands. And I did that. And it took about 9 months for my set to actually mature, which means lock up and get to where they were super easy. 9 months is a long time and a lot of repeating the same process every day. So what actually happened is I actually ended up formulating products to care for them that makes this a lot easier. Makes it to where they don't stick together as much, they don't get as frizzy, and it's phenomenal. So a couple products that I have. The biggest one is going to be Crown Nectar. Now I currently have this in 3 different scents, the unscented, our Serenity, and our Divinity scent on wildcraftedbeauty.com, but this is amazing. All you're simply going to do is give it a shake because we don't have additives to combine ingredients because of toxins. Put it in your hand, rub it around, and you are going to separate just like this. And this is going to add a smoothness to it. It's going to add some moisture to it. It's going to calm down a little bit of the texturizing that happens as they mature, and so that you can actually have them be separated. Sometimes they will stick together, and this really helps with that. You're going to do this twice a day as you begin, and this product is really phenomenal. I use it on my body as well, so I'm going to put the excess on here. You do this twice a day to make sure they are cared for really well over time. Once your set gets to where it's fully matured, this set that I've had for about 2.5 years, I don't have to do it every single day. I can use less product. I don't do as much. Another thing that you can actually use is a scalp treatment. As your hair is separated and braided into these boxes, your natural hair is not moving around the oils that come out of your scalp and out of your hair on your scalp. So what happens is your scalp tends to get dry. So we have these 2 products. We have Cooling Veil and Soothing Veil. Soothing Veil is a light numbing effect and more of soothing effect. And Cooling Veil has a cold effect. So if you're like, my head is itchy, I need this to stop right now. If you put this on in about 5 minutes, you'll feel that cold effect, and all of a sudden, it'll calm it right down. People swear by Cooling Veil. It's phenomenal. It's amazing. It's all natural ingredients, which is why you see them separating here. And these are some of the greatest things. Also, you're going to want to use a shampoo, natural shampoo bar. Those are the main products that people use. Is going to be your Crown Nectar, your shampoo bar, and your Soothing Cooling Veil. You can get these at wildcraftedbeauty.com. Your head is itchy. This is question number 14 about these braiding extensions. You're scratching all over. It's bothering you. You are new to this. What do you do? Well, the reason this happens is because when you wear these extensions, your hair is parted into little boxes, triangles, whatever shape you choose, and your natural hair is not moving the oils around from your scalp and from your hair. So your scalp can get really, really dry. You can also find that as you first put them in, if you accidentally put them in a little bit too tight, there can be a little bit of pulling that happens. That can also feel like an itching effect. And it can almost feel like a mosquito bite where you're like, I can't stop itching it. I want to stop, but I can't. It itches and it makes it itch more. So I created products for this specifically. I'm actually certified in clinical aromatherapy, which means using essential oils, plant oils, natural ingredients to actually do healing and restoration on the body. So the first 2 that I love is Soothing Veil and Cooling Veil. Our most popular is Cooling Veil because Cooling Veil is has a cooling effect on your scalp. As soon as you spray it on, you're going to feel the cooling begin in about 5 minutes. You'll feel it there. It's going to calm it down just like peppermint oil would on a mosquito bite. Soothing veil, very similar, also has a moisturizing effect, and it goes in and kind of has a numbing effect with it as well. If you have super heavy itching and dryness happening, I have this happen in the summer because I live in Texas. It's hot, it's dry. Crown Nectar. It's phenomenal when you want to put it on your scalp when you need a lot of moisture. I will literally pump it down the center of my scalp, massage it around, and it is fantastic when your scalp is feeling really, really dry. Braid extension question number 15. Can you reuse these? Girl, of course, 100%. You better be reusing these. They actually get better over time as they go from this loose, wavy hair and actually lock up. My current set I have in are locked up, and that makes them phenomenal. So you can wear them over and over again. I've been wearing this set for about 2.5 years, on and off. I've switched up some colors month after month to try different ones, but that's what's really fun. So you can get a base set and then you can add in colors. I could go ahead and grab like this pixie color here, and I could add in just like one bundle of it, or I could get a half a set of it and fill in a ton of extra colors. You can mix and match so many colors, and that's what makes them fun. And that's also why we sell them in bundles of 5, so you can do different combinations. Braid extension question number 16. How do I clean and store them when they have been removed? This is an amazing question. So when you first get your set of extensions, you are going to get a pouch of Dreadlocks. You're going to go ahead and go through this process and detox them before you install them. That's going to balance the pH, cleanse them, care for them, and get them ready to put on your head. Now, in between installs, I detox mine again. Once I remove them, I put them in a big mixing bowl, I put hot water in there, put this Dreadlocks in there, let it sit for an hour, and then I swish them around, rinse them, let them dry on a towel or hang dry. This is going to be really, really great before you pack them away inside of your bag. So we actually send a satin-lined velvet bag in different sizes depending on how many extensions you order, and different colors based on when you order, but we actually send you a bag to store them in. It's really important that you don't seal them in something that's like a plastic container that's locked up, because say they're not completely dry when you do pack them away, that's when they can kind of get a musty smell. Anytime we put water inside a sealed container, we all know this, something can get musty. So I always recommend putting it inside of your extension bag. Once they've completely dried, store them away. I will just hook them on a hanger inside my closet. Some people actually won't store them in the bag. They'll actually hang them on hangers in their closet so they can see all of them and they're displayed. But that's how you're gonna cleanse and care for them. It is super duper easy. You get more pouches of this for your detoxes in between on the website. Extension question number 17. Can you use heat on these? Now, the heat tools you're going to want to use on them is literally just going to be a hairdryer. There would be no reason to go ahead and use like a curling iron or anything on them because they're already wavy. You can see this is how they start, and over time, this is how they're going to end up as you wear them. And so they're still going to stay wavy. They're going to have a little bit more of a straight effect, but they're going to lock up. Now, you can use a hairdryer on our extensions. If you have another brand of extensions, I cannot speak to those because there are other fibers that extensions are made from that are not high heat resistant. They may be medium or low heat resistant, but I cannot speak to that. For me, I use my hairdryer on high with these when I want to actually just straight up blow dry them. Sometimes I let them air dry, sometimes I blow dry them. I go back and forth depending what's happening that day when I actually wash them. But you can use a hairdryer on these if you want these to dry up quickly. You can just use your regular hairdryer. You can get one of the hairdryer caps. A lot of women love to do that, where they can just sit there, watch TV, be on their phone while it dries on its own. But overall, you can use heat on them, which means you don't have to sit there with wet hair. Extension question number 18. What are the difference between synthetic fibers and extensions, wool fibers, natural hair extensions? There's going to be a difference. So obviously the difference is literally the fibers of them. So these ones are made of synthetic fiber, meaning it's plastic. It's like a Barbie hair, but better quality. And so they're going to be more of plastic, which means you do not have to worry about things like mold growing in them. They're going to dry really quickly. They do not absorb, and that's a massive benefit of synthetics. They're not going to take forever to dry. Now, when it comes to things like wool extensions, those obviously are going to hold on to moisture just like natural hair extensions. So using human hair to actually make the extensions. Both of those are going to hold on to moisture, so they're going to take longer to dry, and you also have the potential of, if water stays inside of them and they do not dry well enough, that's when you can get a musty smell, because it is a natural hair. And just in the same way where if like you put your hair in a ponytail when it's wet, around the ponytail area can stay wet, that can also happen with wool or human hair extensions. And so you want to make sure that you dry them really fully, whereas these you can like go throughout the day and let them air dry and you're totally fine. You're not going to have the same effect because they're going to drop the water faster. In fact, it's going to kind of drip off from there, and you're not going to have to worry about that. Now, when it comes to the looks of them, obviously human hair and synthetic hair are going to have the most real look. Wool is kind of going to look a little bit more chunky, a little bit more snake-like, a little more Medusa type vibes, whereas the human hair and the synthetic are going to look a little bit more real, that's for sure. Question number 19 about braid and extensions. How do you color match your hair? One cool thing is you don't have to color match your hair. You can, and we'll talk about that, but you don't have to. See, if you want pink hair, let's do pink hair. If you want to go ahead and have a prism hair, let's have prism hair. You don't have to match it. You can mix and match. A lot of people do that. You'll see right now I currently have extensions in that do match my natural hair. It's a fun look. I love it. It gives that natural vibe. If you're first dipping your toes and you're a little bit nervous, going more natural with maybe just some highlights added in, so something like our honey that we have here, that can be a fun look where you just have some little bit of pops that are different. If you are wanting help actually matching your natural color, go ahead and send an email to info@wildcraftedbeauty.com. We will help you color match your hair. We'll look at our extensions and see what's closest to your natural hair color, look at your roots, and we'll actually compare them by looking at videos and pictures of your hair, and we can help you out with that. Braiding question number 20 is one on installs. How do you keep them from slipping when you put them in? There are several different braids that you can do, and we show these inside of the course that we send when you place your order. Different ways that you can actually install them. There's a hook method, there is just the regular install method. There's also different types of braiding. So when you put these in, you're literally just going to take a piece of them and you are simply going to take 2 pieces of your hair and braid down them. Now you can do a crisscross method, but there's also something called a ladder braid. So ladder braid is going to be a lot tighter. Your natural hair is going to be squished together and it holds on a lot more securely. A lot of women find that's helpful. The next thing you can do to prevent slippage is actually do not condition your hair before you install. Conditioner makes your hair really slippery, whereas if you just shampoo it and then go ahead and put them in, you're gonna have a little bit more grip and texture to your hair. Someone will even take like a salt water spray and actually spray that on to add a little extra texture as they're installing, and that can be helpful for them too. I like to actually take the soothing veil and use that. To me, it feels like it adds a little bit extra grip. I have very fine hair, very fine curly hair, and so it tends to move all over the place, have little pieces twisting and twirling around, and so this helps me kind of grasp on a little bit better, and I find that's helpful with the slippage. Braiding extension question number 20. How often do you move these up, reinstall them, refresh? So what you can actually do with these is you can put them in, wear them for 4 weeks, take them out, cleanse them, wash your hair, scrub it, wear your hair natural for a few days or not a few days, just one day, and then go ahead and reinstall them. Or you can do what's called a refresh. I like to do this about every 4 weeks. So I will do a install, refresh, and then a full removal, scrub my head, get a haircut, and then install again. With that refresh, what you actually do is you are actually going to just unbraid a piece, comb out any fall away hair. Fall away hair is the natural hair that you lose just every single day, but ends up staying in the braid because it can't fall away in your drain, your hairbrush, around your house, in your laundry, any of those places. You will comb that out. You're gonna find you lose between 60 to 100 hairs a day, so there will be a lot there. Comb it out, and then you're just going to braid that one back in, and then you'll move on to the next one, do the exact same thing over and over again. And doing a refresh, I like to do that about every 4 weeks. Some women will go up to 8 weeks. That's not my preferred method. My hair grows super fast. Mine get loose a lot faster than that. So 4 weeks, that's my ideal. Braiding extension question number 22. Are these too much for fine or thin hair? No. I actually have really fine hair. I have fine curly hair, and they're not too much for it. The good thing is that because you can vary the number of bundles that you put in, these are different bundles of 5, you can do what works for you in your hair. So if you're like, hey, my hair seems like it handles 10 bundles really well, do that. If you're like, hey, 16 bundles, I rock it, I like a really full look, do that. You can adjust based off what you need. So if you want to start off with 10 bundles, that's a more scarce amount of them, you can go ahead and do that. Or if you're like, hey, I want to start in the middle of like 13 bundles, so you can do that. If you want to jump up with the shorties to 16 bundles, you can do that too. But when it comes to fine or thin hair, a lot of women wear them. In fact, a lot of women will wear them because their hair is thin. When I was postpartum, I was so glad that I had extensions because my hair got thin. My natural hair was falling out, just all the hormones and stuff. But I had these, and so I still felt fabulous. Braiding extension question number 23. Can you work out in them? Can you wear a helmet? Can you do those type of activities? You 100% can. I'm a workout girly myself, and I'm fine working out with them. I literally just wear my hair in a half ponytail. Sometimes it'll end up in a bun, and that's how I wear it. Now, when it comes to wearing a helmet, we actually have a lot of women inside of our Facebook group called the Wildcrafted Woman Facebook group. A lot of women who are bikers, and they're like, hey, I need a motorcycle helmet that fits. So some of them do have their regular motorcycle helmet, and then they have their hair extension wearing one. That one is a size up, a couple sizes bigger. You guys will know how to figure out the size for that. So I usually do have 2 different ones just to make sure that they're safe, but also it fits over their head at the same time. But you can do all those things, all those activities. In fact, the more you do those things, the faster these are going to lock up and actually be easier to care for. So it's not a bad thing to give those things a try. Braiding extension question number 24. How do you install these, guys? They're super simple. If you know how to actually do a 3-strand braid, so braid you do like your little girl, you can put them in yourself. I'm going to put a video over top of this that shows you how to do this, but simply what you're going to do is part your hair into a box, and then you will part that box into 2 pieces. You'll go ahead and lay the extension down between the 2 boxes, or the 2 pieces of hair, and you are going to then crisscross them across one another. This is when you'll begin to actually braid them. You're going to use that extension as the 3rd strand of hair in your braid. So you're literally going to just go ahead and cross over again and again like you would with a natural braid. And at the end, you're gonna put a wild band on it. That's one of our virtually unbreakable rubber bands. You don't want ones that will break. You don't want cheapo ones because when they start breaking, it's annoying. You have to fix your hair again and again. So use a wild band, but this will go ahead and hold it in place, and it's that simple. You're just do that over and over again, and that's to install them on your hair. To take them out, you're just going to reverse the process and unbraid it. Braid extension question number 25. What is the best method of care for a partial install? So this is if you were to take, say, 3 bundles, 5 bundles, 7 bundles, and just install those. I'll see women do this with shorties sometimes. If they already have wavy hair, they tend to actually curl their hair into waves. They will put it just kind of on the bottom part from here down, and they will have their natural hair on the top. Now, something to keep in mind when you do this is going to be a harder way to care for them. I do not recommend doing this unless you've already done full installs and learned how to care for those. If you've done a full install, worn it for a while, you know how to care for the full install, then you can move on to doing just a partial. Seems backwards, but it's a lot to care for the extensions and then also care for your natural hair. I did a partial one time, and since I have naturally curly hair, I found that my own hair started to wrap around the extensions, and I was kind of afraid it was going to start to dread to it, and then we'd have a whole mess, hair breakage, stuff like that. So I recommend starting with a full install first and then going to partial if you want to. But when you do that, you're basically going to have to do 2 separate care methods. You're going to have to wash the one part one way, wash the top a separate way. Even women who leave their bangs out fine, they have to wash their bangs separately because it's going to be a different care process for them. So something to keep in mind. Most of all, I just say go with a full install and wait until you know how to do that and then deal with the partial. Braid extension question number 26. How do you install these on really, really short hair? So you need to have about 2 inches of length in your hair to install these. So a lot of women will use these to actually grow out a pixie cut. Usually that bottom row is where they have the hardest time actually installing. So one thing you can do is if you're growing out a pixie cut, you can skip that bottom row at first. You're not gonna see it. Your hair's gonna be down most of the time. You really won't notice it's there. Keep letting that bottom layer grow if it's still under 2 inches, and then install them later. So order enough so you have the extras there, but you can install those later on once it's grown a little bit more. Overall, I actually show you inside the course on how to install these on shorter hair. You're gonna use what's called a double banded method. But basically you're going to rubber band it 2 separate times in there. Up close, it doesn't look super clean, but once they're in, I promise, once they're installed, you will not notice the actual root of it and your natural hair on there. So pay attention, just be aware that as you install them, that you're not gonna see it, even though it looks a little bit funky when you're installing it. But this banded method works really well to hold them in place, to help your hair grow out. And as it grows more, then you can begin to braid it. Once it starts to get to like 4 inches or so, you can actually braid it on a rubber band it. It's long enough to do so, but that 2 inch mark is where you wanna start. Braid extension question number 27. What are the reasons that women actually start wearing these? Well, first of all, they like the look of them. That's oftentimes the reason. Women see these and they go, oh my gosh, I've always wanted to have like really cool hair. Maybe they feel like their hair's boring. And so they're like, I can get fun hair in either a natural color, I can do it in unnatural colors, but they just like the look of it. Next reason is growing your hair out. Women will grow their hair out from a pixie cut or even just being like, hey, I can't have long full hair. So for me, I have naturally curly hair. And once my hair gets to about here, the ends start to look a little bit stringy. I get like that weird triangle shape. I can't have it super long. I have to keep it kind of above my shoulders for it to actually be cute. But I really do like having long hair. I like having full hair. I also like that I can care for it really, really easily. A lot of women find that too. If I go outside and it's raining with my natural hair, it is flat, it is messy, and then it's frizzy. Thing with these, they look the same whether they're wet or same whether they're dry. You're good to go. So women love that as well. Another reason is they like the fullness of it. So as women age, they tend to have thinner hair, or they'll deal with things like alopecia. I had postpartum hair loss, and this actually gives you a much fuller look because you can, once you put them in, you're gonna look like you have about 4 times the amount of hair as you naturally do. So that being said, keep in mind when you go to take them out, you're gonna be like, oh no, I feel like I lost so much hair, I feel bald. You're not bald. You're just used to having 4 times the amount of hair, and then you've had your hair loss that naturally falls away anyways. And so women will find that these make it a lot fuller. I have women who have alopecia, who've gone through cancer treatment, who are like, I want to feel beautiful again, and my hair is just fighting me. It's not doing what I want. It's not all there like I want it to be. And they find that these are a really, really beautiful way for them to get to step into that goddess feeling and feeling beautiful instantly. Question number 28 on braid extensions. How long do these extensions last? They will last you a lifetime if you care for them properly. If you go ahead and use your care products, use like your soothing veil, especially using your crown nectar on them, that's gonna make sure they're moisturized, they're not all brittle and weird, but you can wear them for a long time. This current set I have I've been wearing for 2.5 years, on and off, because I did some other colors in between on certain months, but these have lasted a long time and I will continue to wear them over time. The number one reason women actually end up getting new sets is because they want new colors. They're like, yo, I want to try this combo. Or like, I've never been a redhead and I don't want to use toxic hair dyes on my hair. So I'm gonna get red and I'm gonna mix it in with another brown color. And so you can wear these for a very, very long time if you care for them. There are women who have had them for years and years and years, and they plan to continue to wear them and just add more colors, mix and match. And that's the fun thing about them, is they last a very, 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 very long time. Question number 29 on these braided extensions is, how do you wear them in the workplace? Can you get away with wearing them in the workplace? Overall, you should be able to wear them in your workplace. These are just simply hair extensions. Now, if you are like playing with bright colors and stuff, I understand some workplaces do not allow that. Cool thing is you can piggyback accents in, and I can show you how to do that inside of our course that we send with these. So you can add them into the weekend, take them out really fast and easy with your regular set. But if you're doing natural colors, there's really no reason that they can say you cannot wear them. The only reason I would think that they could say you cannot is if the length is too long and you can't wear them down. It's a safety concern. Maybe your hair getting caught in a big piece of machinery or something, there's that concern. But overall, they cannot tell you legally that you cannot wear them. There are laws and rules to where they can't tell you that you can't wear extensions. That's exactly what these are. So you shouldn't have a problem. Now, if you want to see a blog that actually shows like different professional ways to wear these to work, a lot of medical workers wear these. We have people that work in things like finance, so they have very professional jobs. They wear this as well. And so we actually have a blog that shows you how to actually wear them in different styles that look really, really classy, and even formal events. We've had women wear these for their weddings. So come on now. They are stunning. Gorgeous. Braided extension question number 30. This is a really good one. It is, what are the common braid install mistakes and how do I avoid them? I would say the first mistake is expectations. Manage your expectations. Number one expectation is, these are not going to feel like your natural hair. You are going to have some getting used to them. You are braiding them into your hair. There will be a tiny bit of tightness. Shouldn't be super tight, but a tiny bit of tension happening there. And you're going to have to get used to that. It's going to feel different. You're going to also have the weight difference that's there. So manage your expectations of them, knowing that you're going to take a while to care for them every single day. It's going to take about 10 minutes twice a day to care for them until they get easier like mine are. You are going to have to get used to the weight of them, have to get used to the fact that they are a new tension in your hair. Having your hair part in boxes can tend to be itchy. So those are things to keep your expectations in check. Another thing with those expectations though is to know that you are going to get compliments everywhere you go. You're going to walk to the grocery store, people are like, girl, I love your hair. Where'd you get that hair? Your hair's amazing. You'll have men compliment your hair. You'll have people absolutely loving your hair. So expect that. You're gonna get lots of compliments everywhere you go. Another common mistake is not putting them in properly. If you're having someone install them for you, tell them to install them that way. I have seen people take these to their hairdresser, let their hairdresser do what they want, and they come back and go, oh no, they're pulling, they're falling out, they're too loose, they're weird, my natural hair is getting tangled in them because they didn't braid all the way down. And overall, what happened is they didn't follow the course. The course is really simple. I show you how to do it. So make sure that they are installed correctly and also not installing too tight. I've had people install them too tight or go to a braider who's used to just really braiding and installing really tight. You do not want to do that. You want them secure, not tight, okay? Secure, not tight. They should hold in place, be against your scalp, but you do not want to feel like you have a headache, like you're uncomfortable, like you're like face lifted, pulled back. That is not how they need to be installed. That's one of the biggest mistakes I see people do. And then they're uncomfortable. They're like, I don't like these. It's a problem. And really, it's just a poor install. If you have a really good install the first time, yes, there's added weight to get used to. Yes, you have to get used to sleeping on them. Yes, you have to get used to the fact that your hair is parted in boxes and your scalp may feel a little bit more dry. You know, if you use the products, you'll be good with that. But overall, install them right and you will be good to go. Whew, that was the top questions I get on these extensions. But if you're a person who wants really thorough information, I want to make sure I answer those questions for you. I have tons of other videos, so make sure you subscribe here. Also, join our email list. If you go to wildcraftedemail.com, we send out emails with different blogs and information. So if you like seeing the written form or seeing tutorials in written form, seeing pictures, things like that, we send those out in there as well. So you're going to want to join that. Go to wildcraftedemail.com and make sure you hit that subscribe button so you can see more videos like this.